This video will talk about page 15, 16 and 17 regarding the nickel titanium alloy applicability on braces in the teeth rather than stainless steel. Alright, so I'll just list down the things that is needed for you to know, while the rest in the explanations on how it moves the teeth, for example this picture over here, I'll leave it at the back. So the key points I'll just highlight in this first portion first. Normally this is your mouth. If you were to look in the top view, these are your teeth. Alright, maybe you have some teeth that are good. Maybe you may have a certain gap over here. So these gaps are the one that you want to put braces. So you put the braces over around here. So it kind of connects to certain place at the end of this part, I believe. Alright, and you'll apply a certain force. Alright, you'll slowly move all the teeth, alright, together. So in the end, maybe this portion over here will kind of move towards here, and this portion here will kind of move towards here. So it kind of rearrange your teeth in a way that is neater, right? And this is how the braces kind of work. And therefore, you should think of what. Going in there, I should say that this type of braces is called orthodontic braces. Alright, refers to the use of wires to align crooked and crowded teeth. So this is a way, this is the term called orthodontics. Nonetheless, let's talk about the main issues on regarding the things. Key thing over here, you should take note that nickel titanium alloy, alright, is 10 times more elastic than conventional steel braces, which means, wow, okay, sorry, I don't know what happened to my computer. Now everything is gone. Great. Hopefully now it's better, I guess. Okay, so nickel, this is 10 times more elastic than the stainless steel braces, and therefore it requires less adjustment to the teeth, because when you place the braces in, I don't know how do you place it in, but it just have lesser adjustment to the teeth, which eventually cause lesser pain. So it is more preferable to the patient, but is however more expensive and requires the dentist itself to have good control to place the braces properly, since it's elastic. So if you want to place it properly, you have to like put it properly because it's elastic. So you'll not place in, because you're taking maybe some things over here, and then this is the braces. So I don't know what I'm talking, but you just place it in. So since he's controlling with hands with this thing, so over here, if you place over here, some of the, because it's elastic, so over here it may comes over here. What am I talking? For example, if I were to have this string over here, okay, this is the nickel titanium braces, for example, and I place it here. And if I were to move around, alright, maybe the string itself may move quite a lot, alright, and therefore I need certain time to adjust or place it properly. Alright, hopefully you're kind of clear. So if you were to take a look on this braces, alright, the removing of the braces, this is the string I'm talking about. So I believe these are the portion, these are the nickel titanium alloy thing. So over here, if you were to just because you want to slot it into this thing over here, right? I would most probably believe that there will be a certain hole, so you want to slot this into through this hole. So trying to slot this in through this hole is very tough, because it's kind of very elastic. Alright, and therefore I think you get what I mean already. So it's very hard to go through that hole. Okay, and that's all. So besides that, you also need to know something like, with a number of different types of the orthodontic arch wire, alright, steel or titanium, whatever, alright, it is important to understand which wire is most efficient, alright, as well as which wire causes the least amount of root resorption and pain during the initial aligning stage of the treatment. So this is the portion where you want to somewhat take note of, in case you may define the problems and then tell the solutions, type of thing. the roots of the thing most probably is just the root of your teeth. Later on in the later part I'll explain, since it's not part of the main topic of our thing. But the next thing I want to highlight is this, that for nickel titanium alloy, alright, nickel titanium super alloy is not necessary to be this application, but can be also for thermal sensors and actuators due to its flexibility and elasticity. So these two properties are the main thing on nickel titanium super alloy. Alright, most probably also corrosion resistant, since titanium is corrosion resistant. So you may want to also take note of that. Okay, so thermal sensors. Okay, so nickel titanium, another name is called nitino. Alright, which is pretty interesting. Alright, so the nitino itself can be applicable to a lot of stuff. Resilient glass frames, temperature control system, alright, and things like that. So the next thing you may want to know is that why is it so good about it, and what makes it so elastic, alright, and why is the flexibility and elastic comes from, and it comes from its property is so-called inert system. They call it super alloy, alright, which we'll somewhat briefly talk about it right now. Okay, is this thing, alright, super elastic alloy. Okay, maybe I should. So when you load it, alright, with a certain stress, maybe I should start off with metal. Alright, normal metal, when you load it, or up till this point, this is the elastic region. Follow the Hooke's law. If you remember, this is the stress strain curve. Alright, so once it reaches here, the U point, it will start to deform, and eventually you'll fracture and you'll break, and this is the amount of strain that you have. Alright, this is the amount of strain. For super elastic alloy is different. Why? You hook it up to Hooke's law, alright, over here it start to deform. When you start to release, alright, unload, this is the unloading of the forces, you'll start to go back to its original thing. There will be no form of strain. There will be no strain at all, and therefore it's very elastic. Alright, more, I don't know whether is it better than rubber band or what, but at least it goes back to its original form. And therefore with this property as a super elastic alloy, alright, this is why it's so good. Alright, as explained over here. Alright, because it undergoes very large deformation due to the phase transformation between austenitic and martensitic microstructure changes. So it took quite a while to find the things, is that if you were to heat up your metal into the austenite region, and you quench it, meaning you quench it you cool it in a very fast speed. Alright, you cool it at a very fast speed, and due to certain reason, the carbon atoms in the alloy, alright, it's unable to escape, and therefore from austenite it straight away jump to cementite, which is this region. Alright, or I don't know whether it's this region or out of the graph region, and this cementite is called the martensite. Alright, it's macam already, but at least we get to know something. This is as seen over here, quenching of austenite at such a high rate that carbon atoms do not have time to diffuse out of the crystal structure, and therefore to form cementite. Alright, hopefully it kind of ring you a bell. So therefore this phase transformation between the austenitic and the martensite, so between the martensite and austenite, so I was thinking, is it this region, or I don't know what the hell is going on, but at least you get to know that to a certain extent it kind of created elastic property for your nickel titanium alloy, and it's called a super elastic alloy. Alright, and so the key thing to take home for you is this page actually, or this thing. Alright, these two sentences. Alright, and this whole page. Alright, so you may want to know more about know more about nickel titanium alloy for thermal sensors. Alright, most probably is because for thermal sensors, alright, you may have a certain metal over here. So this is the let me see. For example, this is at the normal temperature, alright. So there will be a certain sensor, I do not put where, alright. You will feed back to a certain microcontroller or a certain computer, alright. So once it changes shape due to heat, alright, it may actually expand or contracts, alright. So you may change shapes, or rather not change shape, but rather than change the size, and therefore this changes in size, alright, or in terms of strain, alright, could actually cause the voltage to rise or decrease, and therefore to allow your sensors to read. And therefore this is why it's called thermal sensors, because it can read your voltage. It can read the voltages due to certain changes in the strain. Okay, somewhat lah. My explanation sucks, I know. So therefore it's somewhat there. And if you think about it, right, over here, stress strain relationship of different alloy: ordinary, superelastic, and shape memory. This superelastic, we have talked about it. So I was thinking, why not we put everything together, the braces and the super alloy, all this thing together as one. So therefore allow me to continue to these two pages, because there's only a few pages, because there is more to it actually. There is this equation over here. I'll not go on into that yet in this video, but I'll just highlight this type of graph first. Previously, we have talked about the ordinary stress strain curve for metal, alright, for superelastic alloy. Let's talk about shape memory alloy, since we are already at the last part of this graph. And therefore, for the shape memory alloy, this is the shape memory effect cycle. Okay, and to explain this graph, I think I'll use this page. Alright, it's in your notes, page 14. Okay, so I will believe at the first start, this is the first point, which is at martensite, low temperature. So at this martensite, with a loading stress pooling, alright, you created a martensite deform, and this is represented in this graph over here. Alright, where's my mouse? So this is the elastic region, and up till here suddenly it deformed. Is what it's trying to say. Or this martensite region is being deformed under loading stresses. Okay, so once you kind of release, release, okay, it kind of goes to this region. Alright, so it kind of goes to, let me see. So in fact, right, I should actually take away these two pieces. Alright, if I were to take away these two information, I think it will be much clearer for us to understand. Okay, so what it means in this thing over here is that at this particular point, this is the martensite, alright, which is at this point. Upon when you put in certain loading, alright, you'll start to yield elastic region, Hooke's law. Up to here, alright, it's still within the elastic region. So if you were to release, you'll go back to its original stage. But however, if you were to carry on to load, alright, loading, eventually you will start to yield. Alright, you'll start to deform. And these deformations will, when you release, will follow back the Hooke's law curve. Alright, so this, maybe I should use a different color now. So this region over here, this loading, alright, is for this region. So it's permanently deformed already. Okay, however, if you were to heat it up, transformation by heating giving recovery, alright, so this is the point where you heat it up. Alright, heating. So when you heat it up, you'll go back to a austenite structure, which is very neatly organized. And then once it cools down, or you cool very fast, they call it a quenching process, or you created a martensite, this type of structure. So this type of structure, if you think about it, is actually it's kind of easy to yield if you were to pull in this direction, I think. Alright, but so nonetheless, if you think about it, it's actually quite straightforward for this graph now, right? So therefore, the name shape memory tells you that it has a memory of its original shape once you hit it back. So once you hit it back, it goes back to its original shape, and this is what it's trying to say. Yeah, it's yellow. So for your shape memory alloy SMA, you should take note of things, a few things. Alright, at a low temperature, a uniform martensite structure occur, alright, which has low yield strength, but however it has a high hardness. Okay, martensite is very hard, but it has low yield strength. Okay, so you will not yield. Sorry, it will yield very easily. Sorry, and is easily deformed. Okay, and then at high temperature, alright, it is 3 times increase in stiffness. Alright, the metal takes on the properties of a high tensile spring. Alright, so it becomes very elastic. So previously it was easily deformed. It's not elastic. Alright, elastic means that this is the thing, when you pull, you extend, and then if you were to release, it goes back to this shape. Easily deformed is permanently deformed straight away. Okay, so in low temperature is easily deformed, at high temperature is elastic. Okay, and note that the transition temperature zone can be moved by choosing different alloying ratio and modified further by co-working and final heat treatment. So you want to co-work and heat treat so that your shape memory alloy, alright, could have a certain transition temperature zone based on what you want. So what is the temperature zone that temperature zone I think is the temperature zone within this heating portion, this path. Alright, so different material will have different curvature, I think, but upon heating it will still go back to its original stuff. So different materials will have different yielding, type of thing. So hopefully you kind of clear of it. Alright, so if maybe like nickel alloy, not nickel alloy, some other metal like that, maybe some other metal have this type of curve, so you require lesser temperature or what to actually this axis is strain. Alright, but in terms of temperature and cooling, heating, I don't know what I'm talking, but yeah, at least you should take note of all these points in the it's not super shape memory alloy. Alright, as for super elastic alloy is what we have talked about it, as a nickel titanium one. Transition temperature is set below normal ambient. When super elastic is loaded, it transforms directly to the deformed martensite phase. So transition temperature, I don't know what is exactly is talking about. Alright, it may be talking about the curvature that we have said earlier. Since this is the temperature, alright, this is the austenite region and things like that. So I think it may be talking about the transition temperature over here, and austenite, and maybe a perlite. I don't know what I'm talking, but at least you get to know that if you quench it very fast or you cool the austenite very fast, it becomes cementite. If you slowly cool it, it may create certain things in between. Alright, they call it the super elastic region, which is the nickel titanium stuff. Okay, all I know is a bit confusing here and there because my explanation recently sucks, but yeah, there will be certain things like increasing the nickel slightly for the nickel titanium thing, alright, by 1%, alright, will depress the phase transformation temperature and increase the yield strength of the austenite. Alright, it depresses the phase transformation temperature. So I don't know where is the hell, but it increased the yield strength of the austenite for nickel. So it increased the yield strength. So is it increase the yield point? So you'll have a slightly larger this thing. And when you load it deform, then when you come back here. I think it's like that. So if you have a lesser nickel, then you'll have this type of thing. Slightly lesser nickel. And yeah. So nickel titanium approximately 50% nickel, 50% titanium. That's what is over here is saying. So if you have slightly 1% lesser nickel, alright, you may see a certain trend in that where what we have just drawn just now. Okay, this curvature over here. I'm over exaggerating. I may be wrong also. Alright, so be careful of my explanations. And then the transformation temperature can be varied from 10 degrees to 100 degrees Celsius. Yeah, you can read it out yourself. What you should take home is a 3 times increase in stiffness if high temperature for shape memory. As for the graph over here, I think I have somewhat explained quite clearly, hopefully. Yeah. So ordinary metal, I think I don't need to explain. Super elastic, maybe I should explain everything again. So this is the ordinary metal. When you stretch it up to its U point, start to deform. When you unload, it just don't roll back to its thing, and it's permanently deformed. Alright. For super elastic region, if you were to load it and continue to load it, it will yield. And if you were to release and unload, it will go back to its original shape. That is what it's trying to say. For shape memory alloy, is exactly the same as metal, but if you were to hit it, alright, you can actually reverse and change back to its original shape, which is why it's called shape memory alloy. Alright, so the difference between the shape memory alloy and ordinary metal, it's when you heat it up, alright, you can actually change back to its original shape. And when you heat it up, you have a 3 times, or they call it the 3-fold stiffness. That's what it's trying to say. Alright, and shape memory alloy are low yield strength. Alright, so it's easily deformed and things like that. So I think this kind of sum up quite a lot of stuff, and it's pretty heavy, I guess. So therefore I think I'll just stop at this page 19. Alright, so later on we'll still talk about other main features, alright, that you should take note of, including this so-called equations. So I'll see you in the next video for slightly more detailed one on this type of graph and explanations, including what I've left out earlier of this equation. You give me a while. Yeah, this equation from page 5 of your reading notes. Well, I don't know whether do we need it, but in case lah. So I'll just check it out in the next video also. So you can leave now, alright? Otherwise, I can start to talk about the braces. If you still remember, just now I promised that I have to talk about the braces. Alright, so if you want to stay on slightly a little bit longer, you can just stay on. It's pretty fast, I guess. It's just a quick explanations on things. What time is it? 12. So how the braces repositions the tooth is that between the root of the tooth, alright, I think this is the root. Alright, maybe I should use a different color and a thicker line. So between them there is a ligament. So I think this is the ligament he's talking about. And a fibrous space that ensures that the tooth is securely attached. So I think this is the fibrous space with the ligament. Alright, that goes into this part. So I think it goes into the teeth itself. Alright, it's a better, clearer view. Alright, so this tooth itself should be drawn like that. Alright, rather than only one leg. Alright, so I think this is the ligament, or this inflamed ligament, alright, that protects the ligament. Alright, so outside of the layer is a layer of bone. So yeah, so if you were to talk about it now, alright, so if you were to, so I don't know, braces takes advantage of the body's tendency to keep the tooth in the same state. So I don't know how it keeps the tooth at the same state, and how is it taking advantage. So maybe I think they are slowly moving. Alright, they're slowly moving the teeth. So maybe you put the braces, the metal piece over here, and then there's a hole, and then you slot in with a thread. So when you slot in already, then you start to pull, alright, then you'll start to move all the teeth. So you start to arrange the teeth. So maybe if this is the teeth like that, alright, so a long time because they're all aligned in this thing, so when you start to pull and tighten the things, this tooth over here will move over here while they are closing the gaps. So they are moving. In other words, it's kind of going in this manner. Alright, so it's kind of closing in. Alright, so you slowly move a long time adjusting, because the teeth itself, it kind of, if you slowly adjust, alright, the tooth itself is able to actually able to sustain its position. So when you start to pull it, it may actually move over here. alright, with having a hole over here at this side. Alright, and when you start to move this thing, because you want to put the braces in already, and you start to move a bit, alright, the ligament may actually twist a bit, may actually move. So this is the ligament over here. So at first it was maybe at this position. So when you move the tooth, the ligament actually will move also. So therefore you'll cause the ligament over here to feel a bit painful. Alright. And this is in turn activating the cells called the osteoblasts, alright, responsible for reabsorbing the bone into the wall. So I think it's trying to reabsorb the bone. This is the bone to protect the ligament, alright, to the tooth of the wall, okay. So yeah, so moving the teeth leave a hole in the side when mechanical pressure is exerted. So I think once you've got a hole over here, alright, they will put certain pressure to close up the gap. The tooth has to securely fix itself in its new position, and the same bone cells are responsible for removing the excess of from the side. Blah blah blah. So once you pull this thing, alright, you have a hole. So if you were to apply a certain pressure again, it will start to close up the gap and when slowly moving. So time by time, you can actually move your whole tooth to a new position. So I think this is what it's trying to say. Okay. So apparently you didn't move the mouth, but rather than you move the roots of the bone. Alright, you shift. Example is here. So you kind of shift it to this side. So it becomes here. Alright, so by the time you slowly move and slowly move to other places. And I think this is what it's trying to say. Yeah. And I think that's all. Yeah. And therefore I think this is it. So in the next video we will talk about the rest. Yeah. And I think that's all. Okay, goodbye.